I have been comparing so many devices lately. I want to find out, how does stuff hit when you put it right next to the other one? Because, you know, you hit something one day and then you go hit something else another day and you're like, huh, which one hit harder? Look, I've been doing the side-by-side comparisons, and the most recent one is the Venty versus the One Hit Wonder or any cordless ball vape. The hit on a lot of them are pretty similar, but I compared the Venty to a ball vape and I put them both on bongs, right? I did a small little 8-inch water pipe and then I put it on my big old 28-inch Zong. Unfortunately, I broke the 30-inch doing one of my comparisons recently. RIP the 30-inch bong. But I have been doing these comparisons live on Twitch and Rumble and Kick. I've been doing the multi-stream thing. Come check out my streams, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. And I wanted to compare these two because I just did a recent one where I compared the Venty versus the Tiny Mite with some water pipe hits. And I just wanted to see, which one am I getting the most hits out of, the biggest hits? And ultimately, the Venty, it won. It was giving me some of the better hits. It just had better airflow, which worked when I was using smaller, larger piece. When I pull it through the piece, having that more open airflow just ends up being better. And with the Venty, one of the biggest issues is it could have too much airflow. With the default here, I can adjust the airflow, but when I use the water pipe, there's no adjustment. I'm just getting max airflow. And I actually was surprised with how big of a hit I was getting with this. I don't think that it gets as hot as it could, right? This is like a you're almost never gonna combust type of device, which is nice, right? It's very nice. I've used several handhelds where, like, you put it on the max temperature, your flower's a little bit too dry, and you rip it too hard, boom, you got smoke instead of vapor, and now your device tastes awful. Which, that's one thing that you gotta know. You really, really gotta know. Some of these devices, if you combust on it even one time, it's like ruined for life. Like, you're just always gonna taste that little burntness in there. So this one with the max temp of 410, it always gives me a hit that's never gonna be too hot. And sometimes I look at the AVB after, I'm like, bro, there's a little green in there, dog. What's up? But still, with all that said, this thing still, it rips so hard just by itself on a water pipe. It was filling up the Zong, no problem. It was giving me pretty big clouds with the smaller piece. But there's no shot at one. Now, I do have to say the cost difference on these is kind of wild, right? Like, this goes for about $450. I got mine from Planet of the Vapes, and they have it for cheaper over there. But the One Hit Wonder is about $300. I think I have a Cewpins code over there. But I'm going to link to a Rumble video in the description and pin comment where you can actually see the rips, and then I'll have all the links and all the relative information for the devices there. But the side-by-side comparison on this was eye-opening. I know that I can get big hits with this, but it's actually... they're surprisingly big when you compare them to the ball vape. Like, it was noticeably bigger than when I was comparing it to other handheld portable devices. But the Venty, actually, it does a good job filling up the piece, giving you a nice, consistent vapor. Some of these devices, you pull on it hard enough that that air you pulled through cooled down the heating element and you're not getting as much vapor. This does a good job giving you nice, steady vapor the whole time. The bowl on it is a pretty good size, so you can get a decent amount. I was packing about the same amount in each bowl, which you can't always do that with like a desktop and a handheld device. Sometimes the handheld device just has too small of a bowl. But it did surprise me how much vapor I was getting. It seems like, because I can't turn the temperature up as high as I can do with the ball vape, with this, I can dial it in to where I'm just right under that threshold of combustion, where I know that I can rip it as hard as I can and not quite combust, but I can still get the most out of it. So it was thicker vapor with the ball vape. It was more vapor. The bowl size is about the same. So what I was noticing at the end of it is I maybe pulled like 1 or 2 more times with the Venty. It's like stretching the hit out a little bit longer. And I think that's partly due to, obviously, the ball vape has a ton of thermal mass in there. There's a ton of heat right there. But the Venty, it's not quite the same temperature. I could have done this test trying to dial in the temperature to be close to what the Venty is, but like, that's not the real comparison. You want to, if you get this and you crank it up, how hard can you hit it versus getting a ball vape and cranking it up? And like the ball vape, it's a bigger punch of a hit. It does the hit in a shorter amount of time. It does it in less pulls so long as your lungs are able to handle it. You could not have the lungs to get the most out of a ball vape, which I think most people don't have the lungs to get the most out of their ball vape. Your average person might not notice too much of a difference when they hit these. They're gonna notice the temperature difference. But when I put everything into it, I couldn't clear this in like 1 or 2 pulls. And with the ball vape, especially when I used the big Zong, the big piece had plenty of space to fill that chamber up. It basically crushed it in 1 hit, where this, it took me just a handful of pulls to get through it. The Venty, it's stretching that hit out, which the Venty isn't meant for being on a water pipe. Storz and Bickel doesn't even sell a water pipe adapter. I don't think. I got the water pipe adapter I used from Planet of the Vapes, but it doesn't seem like it was exactly designed for that. It's like a handheld on the go, flip that mouthpiece out and go for it. But I did want to make this video because there's some people out there, they might only get one. They might want to use it at home and for portability, but they can still only just get one. So I do want to say, if you are looking at the Venty, the price point on it is wild. It's up there. But it does a good job on the go. And when you put it on a water pipe, it does better than almost any other handheld, any other portable. Like this thing, it does a really good job. You're not going to get the level of ball vape hits, but I think you can kind of expect that. You're just not actually going to be able to bring your ball vape around with you. You're not going to slip it in your pocket. I don't have a pocket here. You're not going to be able to slip it in your pocket. This is on the larger side, but you can still fit it in your pocket. Where I'm not going to fit like, oh yeah, let me just pull this out of my pocket and plug it in on a Starbucks and just do a hit real quick. Like, that'd be cool, but like, you're not going to do that. You can't do that. If there's any devices you want me to compare, leave me a comment and let me know. I'm going to link in the top comment and description to the Rumble video where I show the rips side by side. And look, if you're trying to get lit with me, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, we're live on Twitch, Rumble, Kick. Where you at? Where are you at? Have a lit day, my dudes.